Welcome to First and 10 with Rams head coach Brad Sherrod. I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher. The 25th ranked 4-3 now Rams went down 28-19 to University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, the Crusaders in Belton on Saturday. The Rams were down 21-3 at the half. Coach, we'll talk about the second half and the fourth quarter, etc. But what did they do in the first half to hold you to just 3 points?
Well, we made some mistakes there, and early in the game, we had chances. We were moving the ball. We kind of were shooting ourselves in the foot offensively. Defensively, we gave up some things early. Made them play on a half field, so that made them go a little bit shorter to go score. So there were some things there that we hurt ourselves. And they're a good ball club. Don't get me wrong, but we did some things that hurt ourselves early on in the game that gave them that chance to get up 21-3.
And the Rams had big yards, almost 2 times total yards than the Crew did. They outgained Mary Hardin-Baylor in total yards rushing, passing, first downs, and time of possession. And is that where the penalties hurt there, that you guys had so much total yards and restricted them to like almost half the yards? But did penalties come back to bite you?
No, I think, we haven't had a holding penalty on us all year. The first time we got that many holding penalties. Needless to say, I thought our kids overcame that and played well. We outrushed them. We outgained them in the passing yardage. In total yards, we had over 500 yards of total offense. They had 200, under 300 of total offense. So if you look at the stats, you would say we won the game based off the stats. But like I said, you had an opportunity to go in and score twice. We threw a pick six and an interception. Right before the half, we missed 3 tackles and let them go in and score. So we can't allow those things to happen, especially in the last 4 minutes of a half to give up a score like that defensively. But I give our kids credit on the way we fought and the way we played, continuing to believe that we could win. I thought Cole did a heck of a job of rallying the troops and keeping everyone engaged. And I thought it really showed on the sideline how the players pull for each other. So we are definitely better than where we were that first week when we play a top team like Lindsey Wilson and to play a really good Mary Hardin-Baylor team. But we had our chances and we could have won that game.
Was the turning point, or one of the turning points anyway, when Cole threw that 100-yard pick, which is the first time, I think the second time in Crew history, they had a pick return for 100 yards. But was that one of the turning points there?
Well, I think you can probably break it down to about 3 plays. That was one of them. The score before the half that the defense gave up there right before the half, and then the last opportunity with the pick six. With the pick. So you can break it down to three plays that you could say that were game changers. But we still were in that game. We were down by whatever it was. We were down by 11, but we were trying to get down by 7, so it'd be a 1-score game and get a turnover and go in there and kick a field goal and win the game. So we were moving, and the kids believed and kept playing hard.
And they played hard in the fourth quarter. The Rams came back, and they made it at one point 28-19 with $1:37 left. Why did you go for the 2-point conversion then, rather than kicking the extra point to make it?
Well, like I said, that made it a 1-score game instead of making it a 2-score game. And so at that point, I was trying to get it to a 1-score game so we could have the touchdown, kick the extra point, and tie the game.
Right.
If I only went for 1, then it'd have been a 2-score game. I would have had to score a touchdown and score a 2-point, or try to score again. So I had to score twice. So I wanted to get in a situation where I had to score once, and that was my thinking.
Did you think about going for 2 when you were down 21-6 and then scored a touchdown, made it 21-12? Did you think about going for 2 then?
Well, yeah. If we would have. It was so early in the game, I think I probably would have gone for 1, because we'd have to score twice anyway. So we'd have gone for 1 there, and we'd have to score anyway. We had to score a touchdown, actually, to win the game. So I would have gone for 1 in that situation.
And that is the coach's, I assume that's your decision there. Do you talk like Coach Johnson?
No, I make those decisions because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get questions from guys like you why I made those decisions. So I make those decisions. I do ask the coaches. There's a chart for all that stuff, but I also want to see how we're doing on offense. Are we gelling? Are we moving well enough to get those extra points, to get those 2 points? And sometimes in a game situation like that, it was so late in the game you had to go for 2, and to give ourselves a chance to get their own side and score again and tie it up. So even at the end, I thought we'd go down there and score, kick the onside, get the onside again, kick a field goal and win the game and walk out of there. So there's all kind of different strategies, always, Monday morning quarterbacks and second guessing. And, until you actually in that position or play football in that position, it's easy to second guess.
Right, exactly. And speaking of those charts, do you have one of those?
We do.
They always talk about in the NFL.
Well, we do.
It's going to the analytics.
We do.
Chart.
Yeah, well, we don't have an analytical chart, but that chart's been out there for years, when to go for two and what situation, how many you're down and what point in the game. So we have one of those and we look at it. But at the end of the day, I still have to make a judgment call on how much time, if we're moving the ball, can we get the ball back, stop them? Can we go back down there and score again?
You mentioned the onside kicks. The Rams had two of those. They recovered the second one then before that last touchdown at $1:37 left. But how often do you practice the onside kicks and the hurry-up offense?
Well, we practice that every week. So Max practiced that every day. His first kick was not a very good one. Then he had opportunity for a second one and did a heck of a job. And Ron Seymour did a heck of a job jumping up and catching it. Hurry up is part of what we do in our 2-minute. We practice that every week. And we practice being down, we practice being up. So we practice all the different situations so that the defense and offense can understand the situation to either get the ball back or get a first down or get a touchdown or put ourselves in position to score. And
you talked about a little bit earlier about the fight for the Rams, but how much do you like the resiliency of this team for coming back like they did in the fourth?
Well, our culture pillar for the week was passion. And I thought the kids really, poured in each other. And you could tell on the sideline how much they were cheering for each other and supporting each other. When things weren't moving as well on the offense, the defense was cheering on the offense and vice versa. So that's what it takes. I think you're going to have a team. I think we've gotten closer as the weeks have gone by here and understand what our goals are. And they're just as disappointed as we are that we lost that game. But I think they see that we have a chance to be special if we continue to do the things that we need to do in order to give ourselves a chance to win.
And this is the third tough game the Rams had this year. Remember Lindsey Wilson, which is not a Sooner Athletic Conference team. That was the opener who the Rams beat last year, didn't this year. And then they went down to UTRGV and took a big defeat at the hands of the Vaqueros as a D1 team. UMHB, a D3 team and one of the best, not especially this year because they're 3-3 now, but what did you learn and your coaching staff and your players from playing those three tough teams?
Well, I think the most important thing that we had to learn is that if we want to play at that level ball, that we have a lot to do, a lot of work to do. Get stronger, get bigger in the weight room. I think we've made gains there, but it's going to take more than just 8 months since I've changed the weight program. So it's going to take a little bit more of a year to actually see some more results in that. But at the same time, I think our kids have seen, how high of execution that we have to beat those type of teams, to play against those type of teams, and what it takes, the mentality that it takes to go in there and play those type of teams. So I think we're getting there slowly but surely, but we'll get there. And hopefully if we can continue to keep winning and have a special season here.
And it's back to Sooner Athletic Conference play for the Rams, and it's homecoming this weekend at Crowley Multi-Purpose Stadium. We'll get caught up with Coach and take a look at those Lions coming up after this word from NBT.
We are NBT Financial Bank.
We are Fort Worth.
We are Azle.
We are Burleson.
We are Hearst.
We are Willow Park. We are anywhere through the MyNBT mobile app.
We'd love for you to come bank with us. You're going to like us.
Somos NBT Financial Bank.
Somos Fort Worth.
Somos Azle.
Somos Burleson.
Somos Hearst.
Somos Willow Park.
Le invitamos ser parte de nuestra familia bancaria.
Langston Lions are 2-5 this season. They're next up for the Rams. It's a 4 p.m. kickoff. It's homecoming at Crowley Multi-Purpose Stadium on Saturday. The Lions beat ABU and Texas College. They lost big to Wesleyan Baptist University last week. How do you see this year's version of Lions?
They're still talented. They've lost a lot last year from last year's team, but they're still talented at the receiver spot, and they got a nice big-size running back that can run the football. So we'll have our work cut out for us there. Defensively, they're going to do enough scheme-wise to make you work, but I still think we should have some success against those guys based off of what we've seen on film. But at the same time, we're going to have to bring our A game and what we should. We talk about being champions, them champions need to show up and play every weekend. So they'll give us a good go for the weekend. And
oddly enough, I don't know if it's odd or not, but Cole Francis was the starting quarterback. Played the whole game last year against Langston, which the Rams won 49-7. How does Cole playing last year against a team that's basically different this year? But how does that help him against the Lions this year?
Well, you know, Cole's really come on here in the last since he's taken over as a starting quarterback. You know, I'm really, you know, happy with his leadership style. Now, the difference there, he had a week to prepare. Here, he's been a quarterback for the last 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a little bit different. So now there's a good feel with the receivers, and they're gelling and they're working together in the offensive line. So it's a better fit for him because he's been our starting quarterback for the last 4 weeks. So it's been good for us. It's been good for him, and it should do nothing but help him. But I thought he had a great game last year, and expecting to have a good game this year.
And last year, the Rams, of course, had Ernie, Caesar, Double Deuce, the Flash. They ran the Caesar train. How much do you think you're going to rely on the running game approach again this year?
Well, it depends on what they give us. You know, if they give us a light box, we're going. You know, I'm sure Coach Johnson take care of them. We'll run the football to do that. We always want to establish the run. We can't be hard-headed if they're going to load the box and try to run it into an 8-9 man box. You know, you got to take what they give you, and I believe that now. A run can look different in a lot of different ways. It's not just handing the ball off. Sometimes it's throwing a bubble or a quick screen and getting 4 or 5 yards that way or more, and that can be a run. So we're going to do enough things to take advantage of what they do. We're not going to beat our head up against the wall. We're going to take advantage of our skilled kids and the talent that we have and get the balls in their hands. And that's the key of the game, getting the ball in our playmakers' hands.
I was going to ask you what the keys would be, but you just hit that one. Would there be another key in addition to that one?
Well, every week we do want to establish the run, and we want to stop the run, and then we want to win on third downs. And I thought we've done a good job of that. You know, like I said, even in the last game, I think Mary Hardin-Baylor was 3 of 12. You know, so we got off the field on defense on third down, and our offense stayed on. So, and then we want to win the turnover battle now, and that one we lost. And so we can't lose that. The turnover battle hurts you more than anything, but our kids understand what we need to do, and that doesn't really, like, when something happens like that, I thought they responded well, and those are the keys to win. You just got to win those phases of the game. Special teams got to be great. I thought we kind of slipped a little bit on punt with the wall return. We set up their first score, gave them a short field. We can't allow that to happen, but at the same time, I thought our kids learned once that happened, they understood what was happening to them and fanned out and did a great job of covering.
And now my favorite, I don't know if I hope it's Coach's favorite, but halfway through the second season of his tenure here at Texas Wesleyan, getting to know Coach Brad Sherrod. This week's question is, what was your favorite class during school, your favorite subject?
Oh, well, I'm a history major. So I always enjoyed history, social studies, history stuff, government stuff. I always enjoyed that kind of stuff. So I kind of gravitated towards that as interests me. And history is something that I like because it teaches you a lot about where you come from and things that we've done in the past and see how we can be better.
You know, history is one of my favorite too. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Not the new math, though. I mean, that was like algebra over my head. But figuring out an ERA now or run average or stats.
Right.
I followed that from a young age. Anyway, Coach, go out, get them practice up this week, get back in the winning column, would you, on Saturday?
Yeah. Do our best.
Okay.
All right.
Good luck, Coach. And for Coach Sherrod, for Kenneth Flowers, James McBride, Aaron Marquardt, he's around here somewhere, AD, Ricky Dotsett. I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher. Till next time, adios on 1st and 10. Rams up.